Wow. It's great to be here with you all tonight, and thank you, Robert, for that very kind introduction. I feel like I've got this case of imposter syndrome going on because there's so many wonderful and talented and amazing people in this room tonight that it is just humbling to be here. The Hope Fund for Cancer Research has contributed to changing the practice of oncology in substantial and groundbreaking ways. And I want to thank the organizers for this award. I'm accepting it really as one member of a team. We had a big team at CGen that developed Etcetras, and I have been blessed to be part of an amazing set of partnerships between company scientists and developers, clinicians all over the world that participated in the studies, and most importantly, many patients who gave their time and their willingness to participate in the unknown, which to demonstrate clinical benefit of Etcetras in late-stage disease and now in frontline therapy. So patients can receive this as they're entering their treatment for newly diagnosed cancer. I might also like to thank my wife, Marie-Luce, who's with us tonight, and my children, Joe and Roxanne. They traveled on the drug development roller coaster with me through the entire time. Sometimes they were able to glimpse the joy of successes, and they had to share the pain for the difficult moments that always accompany difficult things that you're trying to do. I very much appreciate their love and support throughout. All of us here tonight are connected by our desire to improve outcomes for patients living with cancer, as well as to develop better strategies for preventing cancer occurrence. Basic research, especially the innovative work underwritten by Hope Funds, is critical in underpinning advances in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. I've been fortunate to be a reviewer on the Hope Fund grants applications for almost a decade, and I'm just so impressed by the quality of the applicants, their proposals, and their mentors. These are some of the best and the brightest people, and they will be making the breakthroughs in oncology and other areas for the next coming decades. So it's just really wonderful to be among them. Many of us work either in labs or in companies, and we don't always get to interact with patients. We're disconnected from them. We enroll them in the studies we conduct. They give their bodies and their times to clinical research, and we rarely hear their individual stories, but when we do, it makes a huge impact. One patient who made a really big impact on me and my colleagues at Seattle Genetics was Astro Andy. He's a young man who had relapsed Hodgkin disease, and he was determined after he went through a cycle of treatment to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, to start in Mexico and make it all the way to Washington. He was called Astro because when he was in college, he was studying astrophysics, but he dropped out to hike the trail. He began his journey in April of 2012, and by the fall, he was on the home stretch. He entered Washington State, headed for the Canadian border, but began experiencing significant leg pain and weakness, and wound up going to the hospital in Yakima, where he was found to have a very large lymphoma mass pressing on his spine, and really his trip was in jeopardy. We heard about this through social media. It's a whole new world out there for a lot of us, and expedited availability of Etcetras for him. He got an infusion. A few days later, his pain and weakness abated, and he was able to get back on the trail and complete the Pacific Crest Trail on October 23rd. Although he ultimately succumbed to his lymphoma later, he was able to reach his goal of hiking the PCT as someone living with cancer. Enabling patients to reach their goals, even while they're living with cancer, is an incredible motivator for me and my colleagues in drug development. As Robert said before, the components used to make Etcetras and other ADCs, the antibodies, linkers, and payloads, these were all developed by scientists. most of whom were postdoctoral fellows at one time and who received support from government institutions such as NIH or NCI, or from charitable organizations such as the Hope Funds. As federal funds for basic research training have diminished over the years, organizations like the Hope Funds have stepped up to fill the gap and support our postdoctoral fellowship going forward. Training is critical, and it's going to provide the next generation of scientific and clinical leadership in cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. Thank you all for being here tonight and for supporting your postdoctoral fellows.